Why do most older people seem to fade after 80? Even those who were alert and thriving just a few years earlier often begin to decline. Many assume that what happens after 80 is all about genetics or chance, but that's only part of the story. In this video, we're uncovering 5 surprising reasons, often unnoticed and rarely discussed, that explain why many seniors struggle to thrive past age 80. These aren't the usual culprits like poor diet, smoking, or lack of exercise. These are deeper, more subtle factors that can quietly take a toll, even on those who seem to be doing everything right. The good news? Once you understand them, you can take action. So if you've ever wondered what really interferes with aging well after 80 and how to protect yourself or your loved ones before it's too late, stay tuned. These 5 overlooked reasons may just shift the way you think about aging. Let's begin. Reason 1. Disconnection from everyday social contact. One of the most overlooked reasons many older adults struggle after 80 is the quiet loss of something called everyday social contact. This isn't about deep friendships or holiday gatherings, though those are important too. It's about the brief, everyday interactions that once gave rhythm and connection to life. Think about the small waves to neighbors, the friendly chat with a bank teller, or the good-natured joke exchanged with someone in line at the pharmacy. These minor moments were doing more than passing time. They were activating your nervous system, lifting your mood, and keeping your mind socially tuned. But over time, many seniors stop running errands themselves. They rely on delivery apps. They leave the chatting to younger family members. Cold weather, achy joints, or trouble hearing becomes reason enough to stay inside. And as these social sparks disappear, so does a kind of unseen energy. Many don't realize it's happening. They think they're simplifying life. But really, they're letting go of tiny daily rituals that once helped the brain feel engaged and the heart feel included. I once met a man named Richard, 85, who kept sharp simply by walking to the same diner every morning. He'd greet the staff, nod at fellow regulars, and chat briefly with the waitress. That 10-minute stretch was his anchor. It gave him purpose. It reminded him he mattered. When this low-level social connection disappears, the body feels it. The brain responds to both major and minor loneliness as stress. That raises inflammation, weakens immune defenses, and gradually wears down the circuits tied to attention, mood, and memory. In simple terms, it makes you age faster. So if your daily routine has fewer people in it than it used to, if you find yourself retreating into silence, or if you've stopped being noticed in your neighborhood, it might be time to step back into the world. Because these small encounters are whispering to your body and brain, you are still here. You are still part of life. And that quiet message may be one of the most powerful medicines of all. Reason 2. Becoming too cautious. Another reason many people don't stay active and strong after 80 is that they start to overcorrect. They become too careful. What begins as a smart decision becomes a habit of avoidance. Maybe you nearly tripped once in the hallway, or you had trouble getting out of a car, or your daughter warned you not to lift anything heavy. So you sit more, walk less, avoid certain steps, and slowly shrink your comfort zone. People may even praise you for it. Good for you playing it safe. But playing it safe too often becomes playing it still. Here's what we often miss. The body doesn't stay the same when you stop moving. It weakens. Not just your limbs, but your balance, your coordination, and even your ability to stay upright. One of the first places you see it? The core. That deep strength around your middle helps you get out of bed, hold posture, even breathe well. Stop challenging it, and it begins to fade. I remember Leonard, 83, who gave up his evening strolls after a minor slip on his driveway. No injuries, just a scare. But months later, his strength was down, his steps were slower, and his energy lagged. What changed wasn't his health, it was his confidence. Leonard didn't fall because he got weak. He got weak because he stopped moving. Of course, caution has its place. Use grab bars, wear sturdy shoes, get help with difficult tasks, but don't surrender to fear. Because once the body stops being challenged, it forgets how to respond. So ask yourself, are you truly protecting yourself, or are you slowly vanishing from your own life? To thrive past 80, we don't just need to avoid falls. We need to keep moving, even if it's slower and more mindful. Activity tells the body you're still needed, and that message alone can keep systems working longer. And if this message resonates with you, comment Reason 2 below. Don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss more helpful content. Let's keep going. Reason 3. Sleep disruption from poor light exposure. There's a silent, powerful force inside your body that governs your energy, memory, and mood. It doesn't make noise, but it runs nearly every system. It's your internal clock, your circadian rhythm. And after age 80, this system becomes more fragile. One of the biggest things that throws it off? Not enough natural light during the day, and too much artificial light at night. Maybe you nap more than you used to. Maybe you stay inside more. Maybe you read or watch TV with bright lights on late into the evening. Each of these changes might feel minor, but together they confuse your body. You feel sleepy at the wrong times. Your energy slumps. Your mood dulls. Here's why. Natural morning light signals your brain to be alert. It boosts energy and resets your systems. Darkness at night tells your body to release melatonin, the sleep hormone that repairs your brain while you rest. Without enough light in the morning or too much bright light at night, those messages get garbled, and sleep quality suffers. That poor sleep doesn't just make you tired. It impacts memory, mood, immune strength, even how your brain clears out waste overnight. Your body may be in bed for 8 hours, but your cells might feel like they only got 4. There's also vitamin D to consider. After 80, your skin is less efficient at making it. Without regular exposure to sunlight, your bones, muscles, and immune health all take a hit. I once met Marie, 84, who was feeling off for months. Her tests looked normal. She wasn't sick. But her doctor suggested something simple: morning light. Every day, she sat by her window with a cup of tea for 20 minutes. She also dimmed her lights after dinner. Within 2 weeks, her sleep improved. Her energy returned. Her mind felt clearer. It wasn't a medication. It was rhythm. So if you're barely seeing the sun each day, or your evenings are filled with glowing screens, consider adjusting. Get outside in the morning, even for a few minutes. Let your body know the day has begun. And at night, reduce brightness. Let yourself unwind, because healthy aging isn't just about diet or genes. It's about keeping your systems in sync. And the simple rhythm of light and dark may be the most powerful signal of all. Stay tuned. There are still 2 more powerful reasons to come. Number 4. Emotional suppression from loss and isolation. By the time many people reach their 80s, they've carried more loss than most younger folks can imagine. A spouse, a sibling, a lifelong friend, sometimes even a child. And while the outside world may politely offer sympathy, what's rarely acknowledged is just how much those losses accumulate, not just in memory, but in the body. What often happens after 80 isn't just grief, it's emotional suppression. It's the slow, quiet habit of swallowing the pain instead of expressing it, of putting on a brave face because you feel like you should be used to it by now, or because there's no one left who really understands the depth of what you've lost. But here's the truth. The body doesn't forget. When grief isn't processed, when it's not spoken, not shared, not felt fully, it doesn't just disappear. It gets stored. And over time, that emotional weight becomes physical. It starts to affect your immune system, your digestion, your sleep. It changes your hormones. It puts your nervous system in a constant state of quiet tension. And the hardest part? It happens silently. On the outside, you might look calm. You might even say you're fine. But if your shoulders have grown a little heavier, if your breathing is a bit shallower, if your spark has dimmed just enough that you no longer feel like yourself, grief might be the reason. Even if you haven't spoken about it in years. I remember a man named George, 86, who lost his wife of 60 years. He didn't cry much, said it wasn't his way, said he was doing all right. But within a year, he'd lost weight, stopped going to the senior center, and began having trouble sleeping. Not because of illness, but because his body was carrying sorrow it had never been allowed to release. You see, emotional pain doesn't need to be dramatic to be damaging. And by the time it shows up in your health, the connection isn't always obvious. What keeps people alive well past 80 often isn't just physical strength. It's emotional ventilation. It's having safe, open outlets for sadness, for fear, for longing. It's being able to say, I miss her, or I'm still angry, or I feel alone, and not being judged for it. That kind of release is what lets the heart breathe again. And when the heart can breathe, the body can heal. That's why people who live long tend to have some kind of outlet. Maybe it's a trusted friend. Maybe it's a journal. Maybe it's faith, or a community group, or even a therapist who helps them unpack the stories they've carried for decades. Whatever the form, the principle is the same. What gets expressed can be transformed. What gets buried festers. So if you've been holding something in, not because you want to, but because you didn't know where to put it, it's time to make space. Not just for the sake of your emotions, but for your life. Because the truth is, the heart can only carry so much before it starts to quietly shut down. And if you want to make it well past 80, not just breathing, but alive, you have to let it feel too. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 5. Gradual loss of daily purpose. One of the most invisible reasons many people don't thrive past 80 is the slow erosion of something we often take for granted until it's gone. Daily purpose. Not life purpose in some grand philosophical way, but the simple kind. The kind that makes you get out of bed in the morning with something to do, somewhere to go, someone to see. Purpose doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be watering the plants before the sun gets too hot. It can be feeding the neighborhood cat that waits outside your door. It can be writing a letter to your granddaughter or fixing the hinge on the back gate. But when these little routines start slipping away, when mornings come with no reason to move, and evenings arrive without anything worth reflecting on, something inside begins to quietly shut down. The body listens to the mind, and when the mind no longer sees a reason to push forward, the body follows. Appetite drops, movement slows, and without purpose, the systems that used to regulate your health start to go quiet. Not because they're broken, but because they're waiting for a reason to switch back on. It's easy to miss because it happens gradually. Maybe your weekly bridge game got canceled. Maybe the church group stopped meeting. Maybe your family visits less often. or your old volunteer role ended when your knee started aching. You tell yourself it's normal, that it's part of aging. But deep down, you can feel it. The days blending together, each one quieter than the last. I once met a woman named Ruth, 88, who seemed more alive than most people half her age. She wasn't wealthy, she wasn't in perfect health, and she wasn't surrounded by a big family. But she had one thing that never left her: routine. Every Monday, she wrote postcards to shut-ins in her church. Every Thursday, she made soup and froze it for a local shelter. Every day, she sat at her window around 4 p.m. to watch the neighborhood kids walk home from school. She knew their names. She waved to them, and they waved back. It wasn't glamorous, but it gave her days texture. It gave her heart rhythm. It gave her life continuity. And that's the secret no one tells you. The body stays alive as long as it believes it's needed. Purpose, even the smallest kind, is like fuel. It tells your cells to keep repairing, your organs to keep functioning, your brain to keep learning. When you lose that sense of relevance, when you feel like your presence no longer matters to anyone or anything, the flame starts to dim. That's why people who live beyond 80 with grace and vitality usually have something anchoring their day. It could be a garden, a pet, a journal, a ritual, a phone call, a simple morning prayer. What matters isn't the scale, it's the consistency. It's knowing that when you open your eyes in the morning, there's a reason to rise. So if you've been feeling a little adrift, like your days have lost shape or meaning, don't ignore it. That's not just sadness, it's a signal. Your body is asking for rhythm again, for structure, for connection, for purpose. Because at the end of the day, longevity isn't just about the heart beating, it's about the heart wanting to beat. And that quiet desire to keep going, to stay connected, to still matter. That's what carries people past 80 and into lives that still feel full. As we wrap up, remember this: fading after 80 isn't about one big event. It's about small habits slipping away. The good news? You can bring them back, one small step at a time. Which reason stood out to you most? And what's one thing you'll start doing today? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.